Okay, so we are going to be talking about getting rid of debt quickly. So we're going to get some fantastic answers going so that you understand some of the uses of the IBC when it comes to eliminating debt. Now, we have a team especially for helping you to eliminate debt using the IBC. So it's very important that you understand how the IBC works. Those are the whole life policies. That is what I use for my own infinite banking concept. It is awesome. I love it. One of my favorite things to do now. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I can put the email where you need to reach out to someone to ask questions about the IBC. Or could I just give you, let me just give you the link to that calendar. How about that? You can tell them VANNtastic sent you that way. Okay. I'll put that link in here. I'm going to put the link to the master class because everybody is asking about it and I'm super excited. We're going to do the master class is going to have so much information. So if I have a one-on-one, we have to stuff into 45 minutes what we're going to talk about, what velocity banking is, what infinite banking is, what the money max is. Trying to stuff all of that into 45 minutes is, we're moving, right? And sometimes people can't understand exactly what it is that I'm talking about with these IBCs, stuff like this. So the point of the master class, and I love the way the master class works. I don't have them often. I have them maybe twice a year. But the point is we have 5 weeks in this one on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That way, the East Coast and the West Coast can get into these and spend your Saturday morning working on our finances, but then we have all of Saturday afternoon that we are going to be spending with our families. So this is 90 minutes, okay? And I am doing this 5 weeks, 90 minutes, where we're reviewing everything to do with velocity banking. That's super important because you may have the first lien HELOC and it not be working for you. You may have a PLOC and it's not working for you. So you need to know the other options that are available. What questions do you need answered? That's what the whole VANNtastic channel is about on YouTube, is answering questions of how to use tools at the bank. But if you have a certain tool and it's not working for you, you need to ask questions sometimes. So that's why I have these things available throughout the year so that you can come into a group setting, ask your questions. Sometimes we get your individual worksheets reviewed, which I think is super awesome. You hear other people ask questions, so that makes sense to you because it may be something that you have in your own life going on financially. So that's what the master class is about. And we answer these questions about the IBC. Why? Because we have IBC practitioners come in and answer your questions. We have Money Max, and I'm talking, sometimes I have the creator there, but we have the professionals that work with the Money Max come in, talk to you about the way the Money Max works, if it's going to be a good idea for you or not, doing the free personal analysis there. We have all kinds of information from the first lien HELOCs. Those lenders come into each class, one class out of the 5 weeks, and talk to you about the first lien HELOC, answering your questions. The master class is not about talking just about the basics of velocity banking. Yes, we go over and over and over your mindset. We go over what the lines of credit do, what the loan is, why it's such a big difference. But we also give you the tools that you need so that you're able to come out of that 5 weeks knowing what you need to do in your own finances. This is my way of serving you in a group setting in a way that you're getting all of the information in a 5 week period and you're not having to pay anything for it. It ends up being about $25 per class. If you can't afford that, then you're in trouble financially, because the fact is that by the time we get through the 5 weeks, you should be so educated in what to do with your finances that it's a no game. No, it's a no brainer, not a no gamer. It's a no brainer for the rest of your life, as long as you know how to use the tools at the bank. That's what is so exciting. So let me put that in here. The master class, 5 weeks. This begins August the 2nd. Okay. It's August the 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That is a Saturday. So you are welcome to join me there. And I think with the 3-day webinar that's coming up September the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of this year, it's great because I have speakers, and let me go over those right quick who we have. We have the Anthony Rushing, who's the first lien lender. We have Chris Noggle, of course. He's going to be talking about the IBC and the Private Money Club. George Harrison is with CMG. He does the all-in-ones. He's going to be with us. My personal high performance coach is Howard Dennis, Dr. Howard Dennis. He's going to be with us. My personal preacher drops in and has conversations with me. The person that I learned about the velocity banking from, Matthew Pillmore, he's going to be joining us. Brent Carlson with Corporate Capital, he helps you set up your trust. He's going to be talking to you about how they work. Love that. He's going to be with us. Alex Alberin, of course, he's my right-hand man. He has been awesome. Absolutely love him. He helps you build your dream. JJ the CPA, hello, he's my CPA, and he is awesome. He's going to be joining us to talk about taxes. And then John Washenko with the Money Max, he is the creator, so he's going to be coming to that 3-day webinar as well. So much information, and it is super cheap. I don't charge a lot for my services. I don't charge a lot to get the information out there. And every video on YouTube is free. So you don't have to pay for anything. This is if you want to get questions answered. I'm even thinking about offering a membership through the YouTube channel so that we can have maybe a live call once a month to the membership so that you can ask some direct questions, any questions that you have. The point being is that you're getting answers so that you can start moving in the right direction. And it may just be one question, you know, some of you guys, you asked some good questions on here. This was one of them today. Should I use the IBC to pay off debt? That is an excellent question. And it may be yes for your answer, but until you get that reviewed individually, we just don't know. Okay. We just don't know until we look at your numbers. That's what the point of having the one-on-ones are. That's the point of having the master classes, is just so you can review your own numbers. We can talk to you about them, get you some answers. And I mean, come on, guys, we're talking getting out of debt basically free because we want to help you. Would it be? Yes, all of the master classes online. These are recorded classes, so you have access to them. The 3-day webinar is virtual too. Those will be recorded as well. Okay. So let's see. Where do you find a line of credit? All of the banks around me don't have them. Noreen, that would be super crazy if one of the banks in your area doesn't have a line of credit. So definitely check around. Maybe you're asking the wrong questions, because you think about it, credit cards are lines of credit, revolving lines of credit, and every bank and every credit union has credit cards. Okay, so you might be asking a wrong question there. Okay, let's see. Hello. I am so glad you guys are on here. Thank you for watching. What's the difference between the masterclass and the workshops? The Labor Day, you're talking, I don't know if it's going to be a workshop. I guess it's a workshop. But the Labor Day 3-day virtual webinar conference, whatever, we're bringing everybody together. Okay, this is Chris and Ogle. This is JJ the CPA. This is Matthew Pillmore. The 5-week masterclass is me holding classes, working you through the strategies of velocity banking, from credit cards, getting your credit score up, all the way to how the first lien HELOC works. We do have people that come in, like with the IBC, the infinite banking concept. We do bring in a practitioner to talk to you during one of the classes and answer questions for you. We do have a Money Max representative come in and talk to you one night. We do have a first lien lender come in and talk to you. But during the 3-day webinar, we are having actually Chris and Ogle come in, not just a part of my team. We have John Washinko, who's the actual creator of Money Max, come in and talk to you. So the difference is we have a lot more speakers in the 3-day. This is basically me working with you in a group setting, trying to get your answers, your questions answered on your worksheet, because you will turn in a worksheet during the master class. Okay. Do you happen to have a resource you can recommend for the first lien HELOC? Yes, I do. I can put that in here as well. So I'm going to put in some links here for you guys that are asking. The 3-day webinar goes from 5 p.m. Eastern time until 9 p.m. Eastern time, I do believe. It's a 3 to 4 hour period every day. You mentioned in one of the videos the idea of paying micropayments throughout the month to improve your credit score. Is that something you can speak of easily here? Yes, that does wonders for your credit score. If you will take, and I was just talking about this with a lady on her own debt. Let me go over that really quick here. So if you have credit cards, and let's say you have 2 credit cards, and one has a $5,000 balance and one has 2,500, just using smaller numbers here for this. Okay, so if you have food, of course, you're going to be buying every month, and let's say it's $700 a month for food. And let's say you do restaurants or eating out on the weekends, and that's going to be an additional 200. And then let's say you have your gas that you buy throughout the month, and that's going to be 200. And then you have car insurance you're going to be paying for, of course, once a month, and say that's 150. So this is 350 and this is 900. If you're going to be paying for your food and your gas and your car insurance anyway, why wouldn't you charge it onto a credit card? Because it's not going to cost you any interest the way you're going to use it. So why do we not do that? Well, because we've got this idea in our heads that, oh my gosh, credit cards, we're not supposed to use credit cards. If you're smart about using your credit cards, you can use them every day like I do. Okay? So in this example, if you were to break down your expenses per credit card to where your food is only charged on this credit card, and then your gas and insurance is charged on this credit card, and this credit card has, let's say, a $350 payment due every month because you're paying basically interest here. And then this card might have $250 due every month. When we're using these cards for our expenses, we're putting our amounts from our income into this, which is doing what? It's satisfying that $350. So if my 900 went in just to cover my food, it's reducing the balance, yes. But it's satisfying the $350. So now this 350 is a new cash flow. So you took a payment and turned it into cash flow. Now, if you get paid weekly, for example, and you're going to, let's use $225 a week in your food, because then you'll just charge it as you use or as you need. So 225, let's say, going in weekly is going to help you pay for your food during that week. What else does this do when you're putting in weekly payments of $225, even though you're charging it right back out throughout the month, however you spend it? Okay. Income's going in, then your expenses are coming out whenever. If you go to the grocery store today and spend $100, you go out to eat at a restaurant Friday night, spend $100, whatever. But the point is your income is going into this card every week, if that's how you're paid. Now, you're meeting your food bill, you're satisfying your payment, so now the payments become cash flow. But this has a real tendency to boost your credit scores. I have seen boost just doing this, going to the grocery store today and putting the money back into the credit card tomorrow, revolving that card more. That has seen, I mean, we're talking 40-point increase to 120-point increase on your credit score just using your credit cards like this, revolving them. Income in, expenses come back out. Income in weekly. You could do it twice a week. You could do it bi-weekly, but just revolve these credit cards more and see if that doesn't help your credit score. I know it's going to help you with your monthly payments, and it's going to help decrease some of the interest that you pay on the credit cards, okay? So stop looking at the credit card like that it's stress. When I learned this from Matthew Pillmore, who's coming to the 3-day webinar, when I learned that you could do this with credit cards, and I've shown you this before in my examples on the channel, but when I learned this, it changed my life. The very, very first minute I heard it, I was like, oh my goodness, are you serious? Because I had a $700 limit on my credit card. I was broke, people, poor, poor, poor. I couldn't even get credit, but I did have a $700 limit that I had spent up to $700. So I had $700 balance every single month. I would make the payment, and I think it was $25. Okay. let's just do some math here. Okay, 700. And let's say this was a 20% credit card. I think it was more because I had low credit scores. So 700, and do the math with me. 700 times 20% equals. Okay, 700 times 20% is $140. Okay, now this is for the whole year. If I left it sitting at 700, which I did because I thought I had spent all of the money on my credit card and I had no other options now, I had to just make my $25 payment. Do some of you feel that way? Because that's the way I thought credit worked, is you used it up to the limit and then you just had to make the payments. Duh. It's just called, I had no idea how to use the bank. Okay. Now, so I had a $700 balance on one at 20%. That's 140 per year in interest. Now divide that by 12, and that's going to tell you what I was paying in interest. So $11.66 I was paying in interest only. Okay. Okay, so how does the credit card work? All right, so they sent me a bill. They said you owe $700, and on, the 25th, you need to make a payment of $25. Okay? So you make the payment of $25 and you say to yourself, I have $25 available because look, I only have a $675 balance now. This is so easy, right? Well, you can go charge $25. All right, what happens here? You know what happens? Is when that statement date comes and you get your statement, you realize that they charged interest. So this interest right here went on to the 700. So 700 now plus 1166 is $711.66. Now this $11.66 didn't apply until the statement date, but because I thought, well, I put $25 on there, I can go, spend $25 now. What did that do? Well, that took me over my limit. So now I'm over my limit, which means what? They're going to charge you about a $30 fee for going over the limit, right? So now you're over the limit on your credit card. They charged you $30. So when you get your next statement, what's it going to show you? Well, you owe not just the $25, but now you have the $35 fee that you have to pay, plus you have the $11.66 that you were over. So when you see that your credit cards are going over the limit and you're making the minimum amount due, that's because they keep charging you the over limit fees. They keep charging you the interest on the amount. It just stockpiles. And so I was always in the cycle of I never could get my balance done on my credit card. Why? Because I always was spending over the limit when I thought I had money available. Are you doing that? Now, let me go back to what I was saying. So, with the $11.66, and let's say I didn't go over the limit, I had a $25 payment due, and then $11.66 of that was interest. All right, so 25, 11, 66, that means 1334 applied to my $700 balance. So 700, can you all see this? I don't want to get off the board where you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, 700 minus 1334 is all that applied to the principal. Okay, so 700, 1334, 686.66 was my new balance. Okay, so every month I was paying interest on a credit card, and I was so unlearned. Is unlearned a word? I was so ignorant to the way the bank works that I allowed this. So those $25 payments, $25 payments. And then when I saw I had a little bit of room to charge, I would charge and get it right back up. And then here we go again, $25, $25. That was freaking stressing me out because I never could. I thought I was going to be paying $25 for the rest of my life on this credit card because I kept charging it right back up to the limit. Do you do that? Do you do that? God bless you if you do, but I have just saved you when you realize that the wisdom of the Lord came in and taught me how to use the credit cards. All right, so I had this $700 credit card that I had had at the limit for, I don't know, a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how long. What did I end up doing? Well, after I heard what Matthew Pillmore had to say, I thought, wait a minute. I spend $700 a month in food for me and my 3 girls. $700 a month. What would happen if I took the $700 that I was already going to be spending on food and I deposited it into my $700 balance on my credit card? My payment was made because I put in $700. It was more than 25, so I made the payment. But this is available now. I'm going to charge my food throughout the month here. Do you know what that did to my whole psyche and my whole debt experience when I realized, wait a minute, I just paid my credit card off after it's been sitting at that balance for years? It blew my mind. It blew my mind. So now this $700 of income that I put in is doing nothing but allowing me to go to the grocery store and spend $100. Oh, I can go. You mean I can take my kids out to eat and spend 25 bucks? Wow. Wait, I can go back to the grocery store again and spend $100, and I'm not freaking out about how I'm going to pay for my food this month because I put my income into this credit card, paid that sucker off, and now I'm charging it back up throughout the whole month. How much interest am I going to pay? Why? Because I'm using the credit card as it was designed to be used. My income is paying it off on the due date for sure. There's no interest charged if you pay on the due date. Most cards, I know of a couple of credit unions that you guys have out there that they're charging you on a daily rate. So most of them don't though, and they give you a 25-day period to hold this in here, debt, leveraging the credit card for what you're going to be spending anyway. You're going to be spending money for food anyway. Think about how you're using your credit card. Super simple. I hope you get that. Now, that was one credit card I had. My other credit card was $1,000 and it stayed at that $1,000 limit. So I had 1,000 balance on the credit card. And I think this payment was $75 a month. So I literally gained $100 a month. Do you know what $100 a month was to me? It was a complete life changing experience financially. When I say I was broke, I'm talking I was in the negative every single paycheck. Okay. So with this $1,000, what did I do? Well, I was paying car insurance every month. It was $139 every month. So my car insurance, $139. My gas was running me at least $250. And then I had utilities that I could charge. I know. I'm sitting here remembering all this and I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel like a rich person because I have just figured out through watching a video about velocity banking that I can use my credit cards to pay my monthly expenses. And not only am I paying them off, and not only am I satisfying the monthly payment that was a payment to me, now it's fun because I'm putting my income in here and I'm going to be able to use that to charge back off throughout the month. I could run around the room right now. I'm so excited thinking about that. Hold on. Okay, so the fact is, this is exciting stuff when you realize that you don't have to be broke. When you realize that paying these credit cards off are super easy, and you just didn't know how to use them. Okay, so let's just say I use this amount, that's $389 going in to drop this balance. If this is a 25% interest rate, what did it do by dropping it to $389? I know it cut your interest charges down. So let's do the math. Let's do 1,000 times 25% and see what we've got. That's $250. Okay. Now that's for the whole year. Now we'll take $250 and divide that by 12 so we can see what we're basically paying for interest per month. So $20.83. Okay. Self, did I just save myself almost $21 a month just because I decided to use my credit card for an expense card? Right. So this $75 that I was paying in a monthly payment on 1,000 was having almost $21 a month in interest taken out. So guess what? $54 was applying to my credit card's balance. But I don't think you all are hearing me when I say I thought my whole $75 was going to pay off my credit card. It did not occur to me that they were taking the interest and applying it to the next statement. So when I put the $75 in per month, I thought I had $75 to spend. No. I had at most $54 to spend to take it right back up to the 1,000, which means what? They're always getting $54 in interest from me. Why? Because I'm keeping it up here at the limit. Okay? But if I'm using my credit card, and I use it for everything now, from utilities to subscriptions to food to gas to clothes to vacations, everything is on a credit card first. Why? Why? Because you have 25 days of free interest charge. 25 days. That's a pretty long time when you're talking about something a bank will do for you. So when I would take this 389, now let me start all over here because I got messy. So 1,000 was my credit card balance on this one credit card. I figured out that with my food, gas, electric bill, water bills, Culligan bills, alarm system if you have one, car insurance, Verizon phone bills, whatever, cable, whatever that can be charged, you could come up to $1,000 in expenses per month that you could put the income in, pay that down to zero. Your credit card is not charging you any interest, and then you're going to start charging. So here we go, 125 if you have cable. I do not. Cable is a waste of money and I don't want it. But I do have Netflix, so let's say 25 for Netflix, and you have 25 for Hulu, and you pay 300 for your electric, and then you pay 150 for your car insurance. Do you see where I'm going? You're going to be paying for this anyway. You're going to be paying for this anyway. So put your income into your credit card when you get paid. I don't care if it's daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Put in the amount that you're going to be spending on this. When the amount goes into the credit card, you just paid your credit card bill. So what did it do? It turned into cash flow. It turned into cash flow, people. This is so simple, and I did not know. I had no idea. So guess what? I have not owed one bit of interest on my $1,000 credit card or my $700 credit card for 15 years. Why? Because I learned how to use it. Credit cards are super simple. And people get so stressed out because we don't understand how they can be used. Those vacations that you want to take, and you know what? Some of the gurus out there are literally going to pull out the rest of the hair that they have on their head when they hear me say that. But the vacations can be charged. I just did it. I know it. I did it again. Charge everything on that credit card. When you get back, what happens? If you are making your payments into your credit cards weekly, especially, you're going to reduce that balance. It's going to reduce the interest that you pay. And guess what? You paid the payment when you put in the amount, whatever it is you can put in there in a week or in a month, whatever. The point is to use the credit cards to benefit you, to hold that 25 days so that you can maybe be working down another debt or something. But don't just sit and spend money out of your checking account when you can be charging it onto your credit cards and using those credit cards wisely. Because as long as you pay off that amount that you spent on the due date, you're not going to have any interest charges. That's so important. I'm not a financial advisor. I've just been through a lot of life experiences with how the debt works. And this is a surefire way to build your credit score, to stop these crazy payments that we're making on the credit cards and get everything in control. Okay. Super simple. That's what the channel is about. And you know what? I'm so glad. See, we got one that just said, this has finally clicked. I get it now. I had some clown earlier. I'm sorry if I called you a clown, but I just did. I had some clown earlier that said, yeah, but if you use your credit card for everything, it's going to ruin your credit score because now you're going to have, you're going to be like using a lot of your credit and then it's going to kill your credit score and blah, 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 blah. Guys, wake up. If you have your credit already set, what good is your credit score until you need it again? Who gives a crap about your credit score when you don't need it and aren't using it? People, people just are so, they're either so ignorant or they're so just wanting to say something stupid out of their mouth that they don't think, oh, wait a minute, I already have my credit cards. My credit is ruined because I'm keeping my credit score or my credit balance at the credit limit. Duh. And then you're going to sit and say to me, yeah, but if you do those charges on your credit cards, then it's going to ruin your credit score. Give me a break. Come up with something better than that. If you're going to respond to me, come up with something better than, yeah, but that'll lower your credit score if you're using your lines of credit. Well, duh, we're talking to people that their limits are already at the top. Do you think they got a pretty credit score right now? No. The point is to get these paid down so that you're increasing your credit score. But if you sit there like you're some clown and you're saying, "Oh, I can't put my expense money into a credit card because if I do, duh, your credit score is going to increase if you've been doing this." And for you guys who care, like I said, I charge everything I do throughout the month on the credit card. I don't care what my credit score is doing. I care that I'm avoiding paying interest where I don't have to be paying interest. Okay? So the point is, do what serves you. If you need your credit score increased, then let's try working on making some weekly payments in here so that you're hitting that credit card or that credit line weekly. Revolving the line more appears to give you a very strong credit score. I personally have watched many clients go from a 500 to a 600 to a 700 within a couple of months just because of the way they're using their credit cards. You've got to revolve them, okay? So I want you all to get excited about your debt because when you realize how to use that bank, you are going to jump up and down. When you think, oh my goodness, it was that simple all along? You mean I could have been doing this the whole time? Yeah, you're going to say that because I still say that. I still think to myself, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did that for decades of my life and I stayed broke. But I work with people every single day. I read your comments on YouTube. I know you're getting help. I know you're coming up out of this suffocating debt. And that's exactly what I want to see you do. I want you to get excited about your life again. I want you to get excited that you have money. You're just throwing it away. You're just throwing it away. Thank you so much for that on TikTok. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're getting help. I want you guys to get help. It's tough when you are working every day, spending time away from your families because you feel like I have to work overtime. I have to work overtime. If I don't work overtime, we're not going to eat. If I don't work overtime, that car payment that's already late is going to go over 30 days. Been there, done that, people. I've been in the embarrassing moments where you had to use food stamps or your EBT card because you were broke and you had no other way. I've been there when you walk up to use your credit card somewhere and it declines because you have no money. I have looked at a roll of toilet paper that is almost gone in my home and thought, how am I going to be able to afford the toilet paper today? It's serious. Some of you guys have a hard time out there, and I was one of you. This channel is just to give you some ideas, educate you a little bit on what I learned through my journey. And I'm still learning. I study every single day. You need to be studying every single day because the answers are out there. But when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive and you have to get frustrated. I had the Scarlett O'Hara moment. I'll never forget it. Coming out of a grocery store, I had one little bag of groceries that had cost me over $100. And I literally had the credit card decline when I went to check out and I had to put back some stuff. Anybody in the room ever done that? That's embarrassing. That's what we want to stop. And the velocity banking concept is the most beautiful thing that has ever come into my life. And maybe the most beautiful thing you've ever seen financially because it is a game changer for your finances. And I ran around the room once, I'll go do it again. The thing is that we need education, and that's all the VANNtastic channel is, and I'm excited to share it with you. I have you guys write me every day. Thank you so much. You have really helped me. This has really changed my life. And I say thank the Lord because I don't know where it came from. I was just praying about my debt too. And lo and behold, the video appeared. That may be where you're at right now. And you get excited about what's happening here with your knowledge getting increased. It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing, and you're going to get so excited that you can't wait to get another paycheck, that you can't wait to wake up in the morning because now you're not facing debt. You're facing life and getting excited about what your life may have in store for you that day. Not how in the heck am I going to pay this bill that is due today? What a miserable life. I have so lived it. I never want to go back there again. I actually have a list here somewhere of things I wanted to tell you all. I'm going to do that. Things that came up in my life throughout this period of stress. No sleep, crying yourself to sleep, and just can't focus on your children because you have to find another job. You have got to figure it out because the house payment is due on the 1st, and I have until the 15th to pay it without any additional interest, but do I really? And if I don't pay it by the 30th, then that's going to ruin my credit. So you're just literally bound every way you look. You're just bound, and you're suffocating, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to breathe? And oh my goodness, God forbid that your kids, have a graduation day coming up, a prom day coming up. Am I going to have to go get one of those checks in the mail to buy my daughter a $200 prom dress, or to pay for the school fees that they have? How am I going to pay for this? I don't have any money, and my credit cards are to the limit. You can't fool me, people. I've been there. I know you're out there. That's the only reason that this channel started, was to get some information pushed out there to you. And we have almost 350,000 subscribers to YouTube alone. And that tells me that 350,000 of you are in desperate need of help. And a lot of you have not subscribed. So there could be 100,000 more watching this. And they're like, you know what? I'm in trouble. And the channel is going to help you. And it's free. It's completely free. Everything you need to know about how to get your finances in order is on the channel. So watch the videos. Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so sweet. That's beautiful. I love reading what you all have to say. Golly, Hunter, that is awesome. I'm so glad. See, I'm so glad. 30,000, and you're shooting to pay off $50,000 a year. It works. It works. I'm telling you. And only costs 550 in interest so far. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. That is awesome. I'm just so happy for you guys. Yes, and thank the Lord. Yes. So I'm going to jump off of here because I have been working all day. I'm going to take a break, and then we have church at 7 p.m. tonight. So I am going to go just thank the Lord for the day that I have. Thank Him that you all have been watching and that you're excited about your financial lives again. Super excited for you to be a part of this channel. If you subscribe, if you like, I've heard it pushes the channel further. So please do that, because we want everybody to be informed about what's going on. There's so much to learn about, so much to learn about. Everything from velocity banking, how to use those lines of credit, how to use infinite banking, how to use the Money Max. So much information, okay? Like I said, the masterclass that I'm holding is going to be beginning August the 2nd, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And I put that in here so you could check that out. If you need help, if you don't do it, because it's not for money. It's to get you answers that you may need. Okay? And I'm going to pin it at the top of this video too, so you can see it when you sign on later. So the point being is, get educated. You're going to get excited about your financial life again. I just know it. I want to hear what you have to say, because it's been, I wish my children were here so they could tell you that we went from zero to hero within months. Months. Mom could come off the road and get a job at home. I worked 7/12s trying to keep up with my debt. 7/12s. Do you know how often I got to see my children? And some of you are doing that. Some of you are working 2 and 3 jobs. I know you're stressing out. But there is a clear line in my financial life and my life in general from the time I learned about velocity banking. So before and after, You could ask my kids. There's been a complete difference because they went from not being able to do or have anything to all of a sudden, wow, Mom, I can have anything. And I know you want to do that for your kids. I know you do because I did. But the point is, you just have to get educated. Once you're educated in how the bank works, then you're set for life. And it's a beautiful one. So get moving, get moving. You make it happen. You decide today that you're going to watch some videos, you're going to get educated, and you're going to get excited again. Okay? I'm excited for you. I look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope you'll join the classes and the 3-day webinar that we're getting ready to have. Always excited about bringing all of my personal friends and professionals together so that they can answer your questions. Okay? All right. You guys have a great rest of your day. And I am going to sign off so I can go rest up a minute and then get some church in tonight. And you know what? I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.